All right, well, we're going to get started while we wait for our third panelist to make her way. Aloha mai kako. My name is Aubrey Matsuura. I work here at Maui College under our Kekaulike Title III grant. And our grant it's a partnership grant between Manoa and Maui College. And our overall goal is to support our students here at Maui College in transferring to Manoa and setting them up with their community before they get there, and then within our community when they return home. And so that's what this panel is going to be focusing on. It's about our Kekaulike internship that we have each summer. And this particular panel will be discussing their internship and our partnership with Maui College Library and Siobhan Matsuda. So, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Aloha mai kako. I'm Siobhan Matsuda. As Aubrey said, we've been partnering for the past 3 years, I think. And with this internship, we focus on the promotion of art and research in community, focus particularly around research in the Hawaii collection and in bringing kanaka into the library and making it more visual. So it's, so that the kanaka that we have here as students and anyone who may visit our library will feel welcomed in these spaces that are not traditionally known to be as welcoming to our communities.
Okay, so we're just gonna dive in. We're gonna have our 3 interns here introduce themselves, and then we'll jump into kind of what inspired their mural and how they decided to include community in their mural. So,
okay, is this thing on? Okay, my name is Shaylise Gregory. I'm a student here at the college. I'm a sophomore, and I'm majoring in liberal arts. And are we saying why we did this? I did this internship because art is one of my passions. And just to, use art in a Hawaiian way, and like at the college to do a mural. When I saw that, I was like, okay, let's do this. So I was excited for it, just to learn the process of doing a mural and what it takes to do it.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Lexi Figueroa. I'm also a sophomore here. I am majoring in Hawaiian Studies. And the reason why I wanted to join this internship was because I was actually a part of this program last year when I interned at Haleho Ike at the Bailey House Museum. And I really enjoyed my time there. And so when I found out that there was an internship within this program that was dealing with art, which I also love, I really wanted to join.
Aloha, my name is Angelica. It's my first year in college. I don't like the way I sound. My major is Hawaiian Studies, and I did this internship to get a better understanding of Hawaiian culture.
Awesome, mahalo. Okay, so our first question is looking at what is the theme of this mural and how was it inspired?
Okay, so starting off in our internship, we began brainstorming ideas for our theme. And at first, we weren't all over the place, but we had like a lot of topics to pick from. So we were going and looking at different mele and olalo no'eau. One common theme that we all had was aina related. So we were thinking like, oh, maybe we can do something with the kumulipo and then paint different sections of the kumulipo in the different rooms that are in the library. But then we were still thinking about that. We weren't too sure. And then the first construction date or proposed construction date for TMT was announced for Mauna Kea. And so we were all our minds definitely shifted at that time, and we wanted to take the time, I guess, to acknowledge what was going on, not only on the Mauna, but everywhere else in Hawaii too, who was also going through the same struggles at the same time. So Our theme is Aloha Aina, or resistance through Aloha Aina. And that's how we got that, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit, or can any of you share more about the research process that went into it? Into selecting the design or coming up with the theme?
We did a lot of research, like a lot. We researched about the overthrow, Haleakala. What else did we do?
We came up with this Aloha Aina timeline, and we
Yeah.
like just picked points in time where resistance was happening. So yeah, stuff like the overthrow, like throughout all of history, even now, like Mauna Kea. So, and we researched like different olelo no eao, different quotes, different key people in those times, and in like who played key roles in it, what was happening, and then through that we like took out images that we saw in those times, like what we could draw to represent those times and those people and what they were saying and what they were resisting and stuff.
We also went around a lot and took a look at the different murals here on Maui to see like what is the deeper meaning behind what they're painting, because I know for me, like when I would drive past one, I was like, oh, that's really nice. And then Aubrey and Siobhan were like, no, but what does it mean? And I was like, oh, wow, I never thought about that. So yeah, a lot of our research process was, I guess, trying to think about mo'olelo and imagery in a different perspective than what we're all probably used to, which I think was super important to like getting us where we are now with the mural.
Okay, beyond looking at murals and looking in the resources that we have, how else did you help to develop the imagery and your process and how you would carry out this mural?
So other than looking at like murals and things, we also talked with different artists and different people, like Ohai Daniels, who is a kumu here, and he taught us about different upena and different nets, like koko pupu and just fish nets and all those kind of stuffs. And then we also talked with Haley Kailiahu, which is an amazing artist. And she just kind of told us her mana'o on things and like what it means to be a Hawaiian artist, just her background and stuff, and that kind of just, gave us a deeper understanding of what it really means to be a Hawaiian artist and what this mural means to us as Hawaiians, and yeah.
Okay, you talked about meeting with Ohai and looking at koko pu'upu'u and upena. How did that influence or add to the mural? Because you folks might see the photos that are going through on the televisions, that the mural ended up becoming the piko of an upena. So how was that inspired?
So yeah, the main image that you'll see is an upena, and we came up with that because an upena can mean so many different things. It represents a lot of things, but what we thought was it's just a symbol of strength and of tension. So like the knots in an upena represent us as Kanaka and Hawaiians. Like the harder you pull on a rope, the tighter the knot gets, but ultimately when it's tighter, the net becomes stronger. So that kind of represents us, and as a lahui and as people, like when tension comes or when problems come and we have to face different trials and stuff, we get stronger through it. We come together more. We have like that tension brings strength. And we're trying to just catch all we can, as Hawaiians too, like catch all the knowledge, all the experience, all these aspects, to ultimately become a better person. And
so when we met with Kumu Ohai, we already had that idea of an upena representing all of us and our lahui. But when we're learning about all the different uses for specific upena, it's not just an upena that you'd use to catch fish. It's so many different uses, and you can find mo'olelo regarding upena so much, and you wouldn't even think about it. Even the kaula that goes into making the upena. So yeah, when we met with him, it really solidified that idea of upena, and even talking with Haley too, and how she's very Aina based with her artwork, I feel like that made us feel better in terms of what we had an idea of our mural to be, and yeah.
So from the beginning, we talked about including or incorporating community, not just in terms of the mo'olelo that we decided to include, but in terms of the actual creation process. Can you talk about how you envisioned working with community to bring about the mural, and what that process is like?
I feel like because what was in our imagery within our existing ideas, it just made sense for us to include community within in some way. We weren't really sure how we were going to do it, but because these mo'olelo that we want to portray don't just pertain to us, it pertains to every generation, even the ones that have passed. That's really what made us, we knew that we wanted to include community within our mural.
And how will you be incorporating community into your mural today?
Today, if you want to come and paint with us, we're actually doing stamps. So we made stamps of manu, mauna, some coral, and just like these different aspects of Aina that we want to represent in our mural. So if you want, if you're free, you guys, you, the community, and whoever can, we're incorporating it through stamps and painting the stamps and then ultimately stamping it on the wall. Yeah.
Please come.
Please come.
Okay, also, what is something that has stood out? Reflecting on this whole internship, I mean, we started this internship in May, and it has been ongoing. We meet weekly in the library, starting with trying to figure out a space that we wanted to put this mural on. They mentioned we had this grand idea that we would paint every single study room in the library, and now that we've started on the smart room, it seems like
It's a lot.
we were dreaming really big. And so where was I going with that?
What it stood out?
Oh yeah, so looking at where we've started in May and where we are now, what is something that has stood out with you throughout this internship that you think you'll take with you, or how will you use it in the future?
I think something that stood out to me, or that I've learned, is that like you don't have to be so straightforward with your art. That's kind of what we were going for with this mural. Is we don't want to just represent Hawaii with a Hawaiian flag or represent Aina with a kalo leaf. You know, it's more to it, and in that way you get people to think. And art is just like that tool that you use to just convey your message and your just the type of feeling that you want people to feel. And yeah, I think that's what I learned, is to not be so straightforward with my art, to think outside the box. And yeah.
So what she said, and also I think doing this internship, it's made me realize that you can aloha Aina in different ways, and you can show appreciation for your culture in so many different aspects. You don't just have to go to halau because that's how you grew up and that's what you're comfortable with. You can expand on that, and really everything that you do in your life, you can reflect who you are. And just taking the idea, like what Shaylee said, that not everything has to be at face value, and it's actually better if you do look into the deeper meanings, not just of Hawaii, but within everything. I feel like that's something that I really will take away from this.
Okay, so kind of from my perspective so Siobhan and I were co-mentors for our 3 interns, and it has been extremely fun and an extremely big learning process for us as well. But making sure, how do we connect this community mural to research, and how do we utilize this internship to really prepare our students to excel within their education and within their community as well. And so that's what this mural kind of has represented for us, is bringing in what our community is doing into our campus, into our library, into our space, and making it our space, and telling our story within our own space. And that's kind of what has inspired Siobhan and I. We had this great idea one day after a meeting, like, oh, we should just paint a mural in the library. And that's kind of what birthed this internship. Do you want to share a little bit? No, I never. And so that's how we got started. And so trying to really connect them to their community. It's kind of, we're in the library, we're in this room that we work in, but how do we bring the community into that room and bring the inspiration from the community into that room? And so that was us connecting them with different artists by having them do homework and go out, walk around, and take a look at these murals, and who are these people painting the murals, and what's their story, and how do they formulate their ideas. And then actually having them talk to artists like Kumu'ohai and Haley, and asking them about their process and kind of how they prepare themselves and set themselves up to enter into these spaces to push out these creative expressions in however they are. And always remembering that, for me, when I think of Hawaiian art, I think of it having function and aesthetics. And so how do we create something that is often looked at as just an aesthetic thing, right? This mural, a painting, something that's nice to look at, but how do we also make it functional? And so what's the story behind the mural that they're doing? And that's kind of, I think, been Siobhan and I's drive in this internship, and I'm gonna let her share now.
Okay. Yeah, exactly what Aubrey was saying, and bringing folks in. And when we think our idea is like the greatest idea, but when we put it out and we got these interns, they really took it to the next level, bringing their own manao and their own experiences. And I really have to credit them with helping us to focus the theme together, and not just taking in community and making it like, oh yeah, it's something we're going to involve community, we're going to talk about community. It came about at a time when our community was facing and continues to face a really big struggle. I'm talking about Mauna Kea here. And so it was important for us, like Lexi said, to take that time to reflect with each other and to say, how are we going to put this mo'olelo into the mural that we're working on right now? How do we bring these stories that are happening on Mauna Kea, on Maui, and bring it into this mural and the things that we're working on? And I also wanted to talk about so I have archival tendencies. So whenever we do things, I also want to make sure we're documenting the processes that we're doing. So that was also, in addition to doing research, we wanted to make sure that they're also documenting their own story in this process as well. So I also want to turn it over to Angelica to share a little bit about documenting this internship process. She's been vital to helping us to document this entire internship, not just the creation of the mural, but every piece of it that goes into creating it. So, Angelica.
So at first, is it on? Hello? Yes, it is. So at first, we documented our research in a big book that Aubrey gave us, in a very big book that she gave us. But then while we were doing the mural, I documented it by taking pictures. There's a time-lapse video from beginning to ending about everybody just painting and stuff like that. Yeah. Am I going to add that?
And So in addition to documenting everything, we wanted to also make sure that the documentation doesn't stay on just one person's computer, although it will be on my computer for a very long time. But also make sure we share that story with others. So I'm gonna also ask you a follow-up question, which is how are we gonna share that story, and what kind of publications are you looking at creating?
So I actually never knew what a zine was before, and then she's like, it's a little magazine. And then the zine is gonna have our documentation process. It's gonna have mo'olelo that relates to the mural, as well as mele and some olelo no eaus. It's gonna have a step-by-step how to make upena. So look out for that zine, guys.
Yeah, and so kind of our timeline is we started in May. The mural, community mural, we really wanted to have it on a day where our community would be on campus. So La Kūʻoko'a was the perfect day to have our community add to the mural. And our goal, we're gonna finish this mural during winter break. And so its reveal will be during Onipa'a on January 16th. Onipa'a is on January 17th, but we're going to be celebrating that here on the 16th. And so that's when our mural reveal will be. I mean, you can always go in the library and look at it on your own. But
Please do come in the library.
Please do.
But the idea being that today you can join us and be part of creating, and then in January you can hopefully come back and visit us and help to celebrate with us the creation of the mural.
Okay, and I think that leaves us with a couple minutes. Does anybody have any questions for our interns? Yes.
What was the hardest part about this internship?
Probably having to look at things from a deeper meaning when you haven't done that your whole life. You're just like, that's the surface. And it's like, ooh, what is that? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, like we would have to like think of something that we'd want to like put up, a theme or an idea, and so we'd present it, and you guys were like, okay, what is this? And we're like, oh, so I made a mauna because, and they're like, okay, but like what else? And I'm like, good question. Yeah, I agree. Also, the research part was... Actually, I take that back. The brainstorming part was the hardest. Oh, yeah. Because we kept going back and forth, and we seriously could not pinpoint anything until what happened. Yeah.
Until what happened.
Yeah, so I think the imagery, like just coming up with the upena, took us a really long time. But yeah, it was worth it because I'm really like happy with what we came up with. And
Question.
Do you have any words of encouragement for other students that aren't familiar with the Kekaulike program, but maybe should spark their interest? Is that for you guys? Yeah.
it's an awesome internship. It's also a paid internship, which makes it even more awesome. But like honestly, I forgot that we were getting paid because it's so fun. Yeah. Like especially this internship, if they decide to do it again. But I wish there were more people with us. There's only 3 of us, but it turned out good. But yeah, if you have the time, I would say do it. It's an awesome internship and it's fun. These people are fun to work with.
Yes.
They're awesome leaders, and yeah, I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, and they also offer different sites that you can intern in. So like how I was saying, I interned at Haleho Ike. There's a lot of different sites that you can go to that maybe you'll want to work there one day. So it's really good to get experience in those places ahead of time. And even like with everything going on right now, I feel like this internship is it's like a safe haven because you're going through school and you have to juggle so many different things while you want to be actually focusing on something else. So then when I come back to this mural, it makes me feel good. Yeah.
Any other questions? Tuku? Okay, I'm going to take your question and edit. What was your favorite process of creating this mural so far? Favorite thing within the process?
Picking a theme.
Oh, I was about to say
Oh,
painting
my
rainbow
favorite thing
fish.
is painting it.
Yeah.
Like actually getting to paint it. We only did the background and the upena right now, but just the process of painting it, it's like it's the reward, you know, to everything that you've done or we've done, the research and all that. The painting is the most fun.
Yeah, especially because it took us so long to pick a theme.
Yeah, so just some context. They started in May, and we just painted the last 2 Fridays. So they've been very patient. Any other questions? Pono?
No, it was the same, exact same.
I'm sorry. What other locations are you going to paint?
We might paint the pillars
In the library.
in the library.
There are many white walls in the library. We're not done with the library.
Library's gonna get duked up.
Did I see a question on this side?
What's the name of your zine?
Oh.
Wow, I actually haven't named it yet. The name right now, it just says Kekaulike Internship. But honestly, I didn't think I was gonna put a name, but I'm gonna think about that now. Mahalo nui.
Any other questions? Yes, Velma.
The color combination you folks chose, was there any significance to the colors?
Because we chose Upena, we really wanted to go with like blues and purples, a lot of ocean tones. And we also didn't want it to be too dark because that space is for presenters, and a lot of discussions go on in that room too. So we wanted it to like enhance their talk.
Enhance
Is
the
that the right
brightness of the
words?
room.
Yeah, so the colors are mostly to represent Vai and Kai and all that. Yeah, for the upena, and also because an upena is also similar to a spider web, and spider webs hold water too, and yeah, it's just upena also held gourds which held water, so water was like something that we wanted to represent through color. Rather than just like painting water on there, you know. So
Yeah, I think the other thing, going off of what Lexi said, is when they first started, we took a tour of the library. I know it sounds great. Everyone wants to do it. They've been in the library before. They're familiar with the space, but hopefully we saw the spaces differently. What type of feeling do we want in this space? What kind of do we want this to be a space that is productive and a space that feeds creativity, or do we want it a place that's relaxing and sort of this home idea where someone can come and just like chill out? So we went into these different spaces and we talked about the different purposes and the different feelings that we wanted in these different spaces. And that's how we ended up in the Smart Room where the mural is currently located. And that being, like Lexi said, a gathering place, a place that is our Smart Room, so it has a lot of technology. It's also the place that we envision bringing community most often. So it made sense for us to start there with our murals. And if you haven't gone and seen it, because these pictures surely do not do it justice, the colors it's just like a whole different room. If you've been there before and now you go again, it's like a whole different place. Yeah. And we're still going.
We're still going.
Okay, I think that takes us to the end of our student panel. So we invite all of you to join us in the library, in the Smart Room. We're going to be stamping on our mural. And so that's a time for all of you to add to the mural and contribute. And so later you can say, oh, I stamped that manu on this wall. That's me. So we want to mahalo everybody. We want to mahalo our interns. And yeah, we hope to see you guys in the library. Also, at 1:45, we have our panel on the political history of Mauna Kea happening with Presley Keala'anuhea Amukseng and Kekailoa Perry and Kūʻokoʻa. So we hope to see you guys here at 1:45 or in the library. Okay, mahalo nui.